G'day guys, I'm going to start cutting the curtain material out now for the blockout curtains. Now that I've done all the measurements, I can transfer that across onto the curtain material, and that way I can cut it all out. So being it's blockout, one side's got the blockout and the other side's got the colour. I'm measuring up on the back side. I've measured a line and made it straight. Doesn't look straight at the moment, but that's only because I've got it pulled down with the clips. But that's a straight line, so I know that the bottom hem is going to be straight, and then I'm going to measure up the distance from this line up to the height of the curtain and measure across there. Then I can cut it. And once I've cut it, then I'll show you how I do the measurements for the hems and the side hems. Alright, I made a mistake. When I was adding up for extras on the side hems and the bottom hems and the top hems, I put it as 10 millimeters instead of 100 millimeters. I was thinking the opposite way around. Silly me, so the first material I cut was wrong. So I've now recut it, and I'm going to start folding the hems over. In measuring the windows to get the final cut size for the curtain, I've taken the window and divided it by 2 because we're having 2 curtains per window. Then to get the gathering, which you'll see in a bit further in the video, I've times it by 0.86, and then I've added, depending on whether it's a side seam or a top or a bottom hem, I've either added 5 centimeters per fold, per edge, or 10 centimeters per edge, which you can see up in the top right. It tells you about those measurements there. This gives me a final cut for width of 940 and for depth 980, which is what I used to cut the 2 curtains. For both the top and the bottom hems and the 2 sides, I do 2 folds. The first one half the size of the actual hem or the seam, and then I give it an iron to flatten it down so it makes sure it gives me a nice easy crease line. And then once I've done the iron, I then go back and fold the second time across, which will be my final hem or seam, which you can see here that I've done the first fold. Now I'm doing the second fold and pinning it all in, and then I can go across to the sewing machine and stitch it all up for the final product, which I'm very happy with. Alright guys, here's the first seam. Now I used the wrong stitch on it, so it's a bit thick, but it came up alright. It's quite pretty impressed actually. It's straight, got a nice edge on it on the back, so pretty straight. Okay, so this is the other side where I've just used a single stitch and it's come up really well. I'm really happy with that. And then on the back, so not bad for a old guy that's never used a sewing machine besides when I first started doing the blockout shutters. I'm pretty impressed. Okay guys, I've done the edges on both sides. I've also done the top hem across the top. Before you do the bottom hem, just tighten the material up and then measure from the top of the hem at the top to the bottom measurement down here to make sure it's right, because even though I measured right, obviously with doing the hems and folding over, you lose a little bit. So just make sure, because when I did the first one I did the bottom first and I was wrong. You can see where I ironed the seam to start off with, so I was out about that much. So just double check. So do the two sides first, then the top hem, then measure to make sure that you've got the right measurement at your finished hem size, which is what I've done. So it's all the right one. I've pinned it, now I'm going to sew it. It's so funny sitting here watching myself sew. I would never have thought that would be one of my skills that I would get. Ironing I've always done, so that's nothing new, but the sewing has been a new challenge for me.
Okay, so Andrew's made the first curtain. So this isn't just a window covering, this is to make it a little bit fancier. And originally we were actually going to make this as the covers, but that was a whole different process. So we're going to have those black window coverings for blockout, and this will be just for during the day so we can pull them across, back and forth, whatever. So this is the first test, see how they go. We're just going to use the curtain wire. We figure that's the best way to do it. So we don't want something there permanent. Anyway, this is our first trial. See how we go. Yep. So again, this is just one half?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's actually going to be two. I think you have to scrunch it all up before you put it on. And do you want me to put a hook on this side?
Can you just hold that in for a sec?
Okay. So hang on. This video is sort of all over the place.
I think that's going to scrunch. It's going to be too much material, I think. By the looks of it.
Well, it is a blockout curtain, so it's not that sheer stuff. Oh dear. Aren't these the strong curtains, hooks?
No, they are, but...
Do you want this one?
I haven't got an end on it. So.
Okay. Alright, so now I'll just stand back so we can get a bit of a view. Well, the colour's nice. It's actually, in the video, looks more bluey. It's actually a teal colour. Remind us of the glacial lakes of Canada. And what are you doing now? Well, are you thinking that's how you want it to sit? Because I don't.
No.
Okay, this is take 2.
If we have it there, tight.
Do you want me to hold that tightly while I video?
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on. All right. So you're going to suggest having still 2 blanc curtain.
Yeah. There's still going to be 2 curtains.
Yes.
But I reckon that's probably as much as you're going to want to bunch it up. But,
right. So you're going to split that in half.
Okay.
So if we stop it to there, so half of that isn't going to be enough. You have to cut it.
Well, we've got to work out the bunching of it. See, that's not good. If we unbunch it, that's how far it comes.
Yep.
Do you want when it's unbunched, do you want it like that, or do you still want some gather in it?
If it's unbunched, it doesn't matter, because when we're having it fully covered, that's to block out sun. I mean, it's going to hopefully look nice, but yes, it doesn't have to have a thing if that doesn't work.
So
It's just-
halfway would be about there.
Yep.
So let's see what that is like gathered up.
So do you want me to hold this bit and you can gather to that?
No.
Like this? Like leave that bit, because this is where you got to gather to, right? If I hold this...
Well, that's not going to work. How's that going to work?
I thought you were just going to gather to that spot. Oh, you need to grab it.
You need to come down here.
Oh, well, I can hold it.
I'll hold that. You hold the other thing, the wire.
Yep, so I got the wire. We need 3 hands each. So, YouTubers, this is how difficult it can be. Do it yourself. We don't know what we're doing, but we will get there. And you can get there too.
Oh, well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's good.
So if I pull that out,
And then when you can pull it all the way back, so you're opening up the window and you've got the sun coming
go
in.
all the way to the end with the wire
Okay.
and keep it tight.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, this is hard work. Trying to keep that tight. Are we all right with that wire, or should we look at getting a rod?
The wire would be all right once it's in properly.
Okay,
It's
so
not in properly yet.
at least the wire is thin, is why I thought it was a good idea.
It's about halfway there.
It covers all the way down, which is good. We've got coverage down.
So if I take a little bit and just give it a little bit more, it's just got a little bit of a gather.
So it's not actually going to, you're not going to split it in half, because you could actually probably use that one for the smaller window if need be.
There won't be a smaller window.
Okay.
Oh, actually there will be, not this one here.
Yeah, you can use it for that then.
So, but I need to know exactly how much.
Don't you need a tape measure?
Yeah, no, well if I'm, so that's about halfway. And that's it's got a little bit of a gather in it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about gathers.
Nothing wrong with that. See, when you're a bus builder, you're jack, a drill, or Jill of all trades.
So if we go to there, hold it tight.
You want me to hold it tight again? Oh, we're nearly breaking the thingy here. We're definitely going to have a lot of protection from the light and the sun.
That's what we want.
Yes, it is.
Make it as cool as possible.
And
Like,
we have travelled around enough in the States. When we stayed at service stations and the like, we will just be like we're in a home. It'll be darker than our room now. Be great. Okay, so Andrew has now cut the curtain down to size, and he's just testing it. So we're going to have on this window 2 curtains, but that's the one curtain, and that's the other side, so it'll be the same thing on either side. We're just going to test it if we've got it up during the day, and then we decide we just want to pull it aside. So we've got some sunlight in if it's a nice cool winter day in the south, not up here in Queensland, because we'll probably still have them there, but it just means we can push them aside. So you would have just like that. Okay, so that's what it'll look like with one side of the curtain done. That's how you can quickly get it off. Fling! But basically it'll be two of those, and then you can take that black thing down during the day, the black covers, just have the curtains either side, or you can have both. Andrew's very good at the fling. Anyway, we'll come back and show you when we have two curtains up.
And connected properly, so it'll be done.
And you won't have the fling.
That's it.
You like the fling.
I like flinging. We've got to connect the curtains. We're using the little wire hooks for it going through the curtain. Now, I'm using a bit bigger hook than what came with the packet. I'm using the 30mm screw eyes, so they're a bit thicker. What I'm doing is I've measured half the way in between the windows into the metal, and I'm going up as high as I can. I'm going to put one on this side and the same up this side. I'm going to mark on a piece of tape, and then I'm going to drill through, and then I'm going to install these, which will be a bit stronger than the other ones that came with it. Might need a bigger drill bit.
Did I get it? Hole big enough this time? So, a bigger bit. Take 3. Oh, we're in already. That was quick. So now we're going for the test measure. That's good. Good job, darling.
I'll take a photo.